एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः। ॐ सहनाववतु
ॐ सहनाववतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
मा विद्विषावहै
मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
13th verse of the chapter we finished. शुरू करें? Now in this there is a pathabheda also. Here it is nityo anityanam. That means nityaha anityanam. Anityanam nityaha. Anitya means whatever is not permanent, temporary. सब कुछ temporary है. Everything in this creation, howling हो रहा है थोड़ा. Everything in this creation is temporary, is fleeting. In that the only permanent thing is the soul or the Brahman or the consciousness. Because it is not a thing. The entire objectude, it is the revealer of the objectude. It is not never in the objectude. That is why the question of transcending changefulness comes. Another Pathabheda, that is different version, is in Ashwattha also it is there. Nityo nityanam, not anityanam. That is nityaha, nityanam nityaha. That means it is the permanent amongst the permanents. So we have to hear all these things. If you take that, whether it is something crept in, we don't know. But we always try to, whatever is there, we can interpret in any manner. So we try to interpret that it is okay. We don't correct the Vedas. We try to interpret in a manner from our own sadhana, from our own experience, from our knowledge. We try to interpret in a manner, and taking the help of all the vyakhyanas, whoever has said like that, we try to understand what can be the meaning. So even when we say, because it can be expressed in various ways. Whatever expression is used, it is not going to be correct because it is beyond all expression. It is avang manaso gochara. It is neither can be attained by mind, nor can be attained by word, nor can be attained by intelligence. So, all the nityas, whenever we are using plural for the nityas, nityanam means we are using plural. Now the real nitya, which is non-changing, like Atma, that cannot be plural, because anything plural means it is in the objective range. It's in the ken of objectude. So naturally when they are using the plural nityanam nityaha, that nityanam must be referring to something else which we are considering to be nitya. So in some places they will interpret that normally the devas are considered to be more permanent than we are, or Brahma loka, different lokas are considered to be more permanent than whatever we think. Particularly Brahma loka, which is one life of a Brahma, like that. So they are relative nitya. So it is far beyond that also. Whatever in our ordinary parlance or in our Vedas or in our Puranas we consider to be long living or almost permanent, like Brahma Loka, Brahma, etc. Even Brahma is not the ultimate Nitya. That is why they say that from Brahma to the blade of grass, everything is in the objectude. From Brahma, creator, to the blade of grass, everything is in the fold of objectude. They are all world. The only what is not the world, the revealer of the world, is the Brahman or Atma or the consciousness, as we say. So amongst those relative Nityas also, it is the real Nitya. It is the Nitya amongst the Nityanam. That way we can say. Also we can say that although all the objects are fleeting, as a whole, the whole creation, it does not have Adi, does not have Anta, does not have beginning, does not have end. Although in science we look for Big Bang, the creation of the universe and all, as a whole, our Shastras, they say that there cannot be any beginning or end because the time is within the created thing. If you want to go beyond that, you have to go beyond time. Time is a cyclic. It is not starting from one time that universe created and from there the time started. That cannot be, because time started at a point means time was already there. Here our model is everything is cyclic. So time, space, causality, they are all within the fold of objectude. So although each is changeful, each item of the universe is changeful, the universe as a whole or the creation as a whole, it does not have beginning, does not have end. Now they say that it has got, in some places they will say that it is anadi, that means it does maya. Maya means the vision of the entire world. Maya is referred to as anadi but santa. I am telling you, in scripture, if you read various statements, you will find everything can be understood. You have to go beyond the contradictions, otherwise they will appear to be contradictory. Maya is referred to as anadi but santa. Santa means sa anta, means it has end but it has no beginning. No beginning means it is within the cyclic time. You cannot find a beginning there. It is not a linear, creation is not linear. It is a cyclic process. So you cannot find out that from here it started. It's going round and round. That is why they say kalpas are again coming. I will not go into the detail of that. So as a whole, the Maya is Nitya. Nitya means in that sense Nitya. Although everything is changing, but as a whole, as a cosmic phenomena, that phenomena does not have Adi or Anta. But in some places they will say it has Anta, Santa, Maya, because by knowledge it gets removed. When the Brahmajnana, the knowledge of the truth comes, then the Maya is not there. So although the world is continues, but the Maya will not be there for that. So it is called Santa also. It depends on what we want to express through in different places. That is how it is expressed. So both the versions are there, Nityaha, Anityanam Nityaha and Nityanam Nityaha. I was saying that the kalpas, actually what happened is that we are publishing the third volume of Science of Inner Redemption. That is Swamiji's writing on Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana, the Nirvana Prakarana, last portion. Last portion, it is the Shikhidvaja and Chodala Upakhyana. That will be the next volume, which will come up very soon. It is ready already. So I was writing the preface for that. So there, the story is referring to the great king Shikhidvaja was ruling in Ujjaini in Dwapara Yuga. So Rama was belonging to Treta Yuga, and at that time Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana has been written. Although we know that it is much later text, it has been moving on, but as per description of Valmiki, it is written in Treta Yuga. And in that, Shikhidvaja is belonging to Dwapara Yuga. next to Treta Yuga. So there is a contradiction, that how can in Treta Yuga we can think of Dwapara Yuga? That will come later. So Satishji wrote back to me that it is a confusion, it is that. I said that yes, I know that, but the problem is that in the story it is written that it is not in this kalpa, it is in the earlier kalpa. In each kalpa all the yugas are going on. So it is in the earlier kalpa. So naturally the later whatever is happening, it had already happened in earlier kalpa, so there is no contradiction. But in the preface, in a 1 page, 1.5 page preface, I did not want to put so much of trouble. So finally we removed the yuga name, because it is becoming confusing there. And Vasishtha is saying that it happened in that kalpa, and in this kalpa also same things are going to be repeated. Again Rama will come, and again these things will happen. Everything will happen like that. So each kalpa the things will be repeated. So I told this only to say that it is a cyclic process. In our model of the universe, model of the creation, everything is cycle, and more or less the fundamental things are undergoing repetition. That is why you will find our astrological charts, everything, it is based on a cyclical harmony. They can predict all according to that. Nityo nityanam chetanaschetanaam
Nityo nityanam chetanaschetanaam
eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman
eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman
tamatmastham yenu pashyanti dhiraha
tamatmastham yenu pashyanti dhiraha
tesham shanti shashvati netaresham
tesham shanti shashvati netaresham
tadetaditi manyante
tadetaditi manyante
anirdeshyam paramam sukham
anirdeshyam paramam sukham
katham nu tadvijaniyam
katham nu tadvijaniyam
kimu bhati vibhati va
kimu bhati vibhati va
na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam
न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्र तारकम्
nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyamagnihi
नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः
tameva bhantamanubhati sarvam
तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वम्
tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati.
तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति.
So this last portion we have done already, just we should be, it's very important, because again they are pointing out a great hindrance in our sadhana, that the disciple is asking that the knowers are mentioning tat etatiti, very definite that this is what it is, although this means not in the objective sense. They are saying also neti neti, whatever you say iti, it is not that. But tad etat means it is this. They are, whatever they have said without any ambiguity. But at the same time they are saying it is anirdeshyam paramam sukham, that this ananda or bliss is anirdeshyam, it cannot be spoken of in a definite manner. So is it katham nu tad vijaniyam kimu bhati vibhati va? How to know? Does it shine as something general? Does it shine as something particular that we can identify that yes, I have got it, that this is shining, this is it? In reply he is saying you should never look for this as an object, as a different which is shine, which can be seen by you. That means you are the revealer and you are seeing something. That means that is getting illumined or revealed by yourself. It cannot be different from yourself. It is yourself. So it has to be self-revealing. So he is saying that this is the only bha, it is the only prakasha It is the only light in the entire, whatever we can think of. There is no other light. All the other things are shining by the light of this Atma or the Brahman. So never try to see it as different from you. It can only reveal itself, because this is the only self-luminous, self-revealing truth, tattva. Now, in the next section, we should try to follow the progression of the sadhana, where we started this time, that Puram Ekadashadvaram. There first what we did, we separated the Atma from the body. That is the first thing we have to do, because we are always clinging to our body. We have to distinguish the Atma as something different from the body. So we start looking within and taking away all the elements which is attached to it, to locate the Atma as different from the body. But after we located that this is the Atma which is not changing with the body, unchanging, unattached, untainted, when the body is whether mind and body are undergoing sukha dukkha, nothing happens to the Atma. Like that we distinguish the Atma from the personality, body-mind personality. When it is done, the idea is as if still the Atma is encapsulated by the body. Then the next phase of the progression was that no, the Atma is everywhere. So all those slokas were saying that everywhere it is the Atma. And don't think that each body is containing one Atma, because Atma is only one. Repeatedly they say, Ekas tatha sarva bhuta antaratma, Ekas tatha sarva bhuta antaratma. One is that Atma which is in all the bhutas, all the beings. So that was spoken of. But there also the Atma is the consciousness, and for which the entire Jada universe is shining in that Atma. That was the concept. Now in this chapter, from the beginning, they will try to make the world also Brahman. That is, there is nothing other than Brahman. You get the point. First you realize the truth going within, differentiating it from the body-mind personality. Then you know that it is not, although I tried to look within and got it, but it is not really within, but it is everywhere. That same Atma is everywhere. Then from this chapter it is saying that everywhere means what? Everything is this alone, there is nothing else. The whole world is Brahman and Brahman alone. Step by step they are taking us to the final. Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam kadapi brahma sargayoho prajnaya yo vijanati sa jivan mukta ishyate. Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam. There is no bheda, no difference between the pratyagatma. Pratyak means we are looking within. To find out our Atma, we have to look within. That is why it is called pratyagatma. Pratyak means going inward. Our mind, our sense organs always are looking outward. Make them look inward, the focus is changed inward, and there we are discovering our real self. So it is called pratyagatma, or pratyak also is same. So there is no difference between the pratyagatma, which we discover going within, and the Brahman, which is the substratum of the entire universe. That is why we are saying that the Atma is not in the universe, but the universe is floating in the Atma, is appearing in the Atma. So, na pratyak brahmanor vedam, kadapi brahma sargayoho. Sarga and swarga are different. Swarga means heaven. Sarga means srishti. Sarga means anything that is created. All the worlds are sarga. Kadapi brahma sargayoho. And never any difference between the Brahman and the creation. Because normally we are saying Brahman is different from the creation, leaving the creation, we are condemning the world, it is only causing suffering for us. We leaving the world, we are going into the meditation to discover the Brahman. He says, Kadapi Brahma Sargayo. There is never any difference between the creation and the Brahman. It is only in the appearance. Prajnaya yo vijanati. One who knows this truth by his prajna. Prajna means prakrishta jnana. That is not the theoretical knowledge. Jnana is theoretical knowledge. Prajna is when the knowledge becomes actualized. That is, you don't have to analyze and argument all so many things to understand that this is so. You know the difference between the two. The theoretical knowledge, every time you have to analyze, think what Swamiji said or what the Shastra is saying, and then come to the, again, oh, it is all same. There cannot be any difference like that. But when the same thing becomes natural to us, we don't have to make effortful analysis to understand the truth. The truth becomes naturally evident to us. Then we call it realization. Samajh gaye? It should naturally shine to us that it cannot be anything else. This is it. Arguments are given to establish for a buddhi which has not understanding. So to convince, because we are so convinced about the worldly appearance, worldliness, that we have to be given the argument to convince. Actually, for a real seeker, no argument is necessary. It's a straight away going into it. So here, prajnaya yo vijanati sa jivan mukta ishyate. One who knows this by his prajna, prakrishta jnana, it becomes realized knowledge. He is called a jivan mukta. Because he will work in the same world with his same indriyas, never getting bound by anything at all. He will never be caught by the world. Whatever to be done, he will do. He may kill people. If he is a warrior, he will have to kill people. If he is a policeman, he has to fight people. If he is in army, he has to kill, fight, everything he will do. But not getting any sinfulness out of it. No feeling of sinfulness. He may do very great work also, not getting any boastful idea or I have done this, I have done that great thing. Nothing will happen to him. Because he knows that it is all an appearance in the self. Okay, let us come to the Urdhvamulo avakshakha
Urdhvamulo vakshakha
Esho Ashwattha Sanatanaha
Esho Ashwattha Sanatanaha
Tadeva Shukram Tadbrahma
Tadeva Shukram Tadbrahma
Tadeva Amritamuchyate
Tadeva Amritamuchyate
Tasmin Lokashrita Sarve
Tasmin Lokashrita Sarve
Tadunatyeti Kaschana
Tadunatyeti Kaschana
Etadvaitat.
Etadvaitat.
Only first line is new. All other lines we have already understood in previous verses and all. Now, similar verse, do you remember anywhere else? Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter starts with this. But the two are absolutely opposite. Two are as apparently contradictory. It is not contradictory but complementary, but it will appear to be contradictory. There it is. Urdhamula madhashakham ashwatham prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavit. It goes like that. So in both the cases, it is an illustration of an Ashwattha vriksha. You can say Bata vriksha also, that banyan, it is Ashwattha. Because they are talking about secondary root. The secondary roots are not so prominent in so-called people tree. Secondary roots are more prominent in banyan tree. But this Ashwattha name is applicable to both because they are very long-living tree. The longest living tree perhaps those days. So, we may think that it is permanent, that it is very long living, it is more than human life, it lives much more than our life. He is saying, no, that also is perishable. So to remind us, they have given the name Ashwattha. A means negation, Shwa means tomorrow, and Tha means existence. That means although it is long living, tomorrow it may not be there. So reminding us that even the long living things are also perishable, they are also fleeting. Don't get deluded just because something is long living, it will hold on to us forever. See, here the important point is, after describing the Ashwattha vriksha, he says that in the third verse, That is what I wanted to point out. In Bhagavad Gita, the third verse, he is saying, Na roopamasyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha ashvatthaменam subirudhamulam asanga shastrena dridhena chitva tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivattanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasita purani. So here he is saying Ashwattamenam subirudha moolam. This Ashwattha with deep root, very strong root. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. It has to be cut by the Asanga Shastra. What kind of weapon? Asanga. You should immediately remember where from Sangha is coming, what it is leading to. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Always people are asking how to remove desire, how to remove desire. Bhagavad Gita has said, what is that? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate. By constantly thinking about the objects and objective situations, objects of attraction and repulsion, constantly meditating on that, we develop a clinging to that sangha. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. From that sangha, that clinging, the desire for that comes. You can easily, suppose so many kinds of cars, vehicles or mobiles, they were not there about 30 years ago or 50 years ago. So there was no question of thinking about that also. So the desire, those desires were not there. As we have fed our society with the multiple objects of attraction, we are thinking about it and our desires also are going on. Otherwise, our desires would have been limited. In olden days, about 100 years back, their desires were very few. The multiple desires were not there. Even people were not going to foreign country, they were not having many things. So such desire would not come. Now, when you see, suppose you don't have that, but you see your friend, your neighbor using some items, you start thinking about it. You see the benefit of it or facility given and all. Constantly thinking, one day you think that let me also have it. Is it not so? So the problem is not with the desire. The problem is what we are thinking about. If you constantly think about the objects of plus and minus, objects of attraction and repulsion, then automatically we will develop clinging to the objects of attraction and hatred towards object of repulsion. When A and B, both of them do not like C, if they don't think too much about C, nothing will happen. But what happens is that A and B start speaking ill about C. And by that the hatred in A and B goes up and up and up. Hatred grows like that. That is how the groups are formed and they fight with each other. Because they are discussing about the opposite party. And they develop more and more enmity by that. It is by our thinking we are increasing our ragadvesha, our desires. So the correction has to be done. What is our mind occupied with? We are making our mind occupied with these things. So how can I get rid of desire? It is simple arithmetic. That is why we have developed, even if soul did not exist, it doesn't matter. We have developed a concept of soul which is universal, which is untainted, unaffected, which loves everybody, if at all love is there, which is equal to everybody. So such a soul, if you go on thinking throughout the day, if you read the Shastras, think about it, listen to it, what will happen? The mind will given to Eka Tattva Ghanabhyasa, that Eka Tattva, one truth. Constantly the mind will be occupied by that. So mind will cling to the soul, and clinging to the soul, it will have a desire for the soul also, or aspiration for the soul. By that what will happen? The mind will develop the properties of the soul. So whatever the mind is given, it will grow with those properties. If we read good books, the mind will think in terms of noble ideas. If we read only other books where only indulgences of various kinds are there, then the mind will be automatically given to, they will develop those things. It is very simple. There is no question of नहीं होता है स्वामी जो वैसे ही जन्म हुआ है उनका ही होगा, जिसके मन अपवित्र है वो मन कभी पवित्र नहीं होता है. Absolute foolish. It is not so. It is very simple. Give the mind the pure food, the mind will become pure. Give the mind the impure food, the mind will become impure. Live with the impure people, he will become impure automatically. Without unawares, he will become impure. Live with the pure people, he will become pure. But live with the pure people with that purity. आप अगर वो प्योर पीपल का खाली इम्प्योरिटी लेके हमेशा देख सकते हैं, वो भी होता है. कोई सेंट के पास गए, यू हैव गॉन टू द कंपनी ऑफ अ सेंट, बट यू फाइंड ओनली फॉल्ट इन द सेंट. दैट मीन्स योर कंपनी इज नॉट द सेंट, योर कंपनी इज आर द फॉल्ट्स. So the mind will not become pure in that case. There was in Kailash Ashram, one saint was there. Once his disciple had to go, long time disciple, he was sent away from the ashram also. So one devotee asked, when we were there, a lady devotee was asking, Maharaj, ये इतने सालों से, maybe 25 years or so, आपका संग किए हैं, आपके संग में थे, तो क्यों ऐसा हो गया कि ऐसा इम्प्योर काम हुआ और उनको जाना पड़ा? तो एक महापुरुष के संग में रहने से क्या उनका मन पवित्र नहीं बनेगा? He kept quiet. Then after some time he said, आप सुबह गंगा जी में जाते हैं नहाने के लिए? The lady said, yes. वहाँ देखे हैं बहुत सारे पत्थर है, देखे हैं? हाँ देखे हैं. सैकड़ों साल से गंगा जी में नहा रहा है, लेकिन पत्थर पत्थर ही रह गया नहीं? वैसे आप भी अगर सत्संग में नहाते हैं लेकिन मन को पत्थर जैसा बना के, तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. That he did not say, I am saying. That even if the stones in the Ganges, they are staying, they are taking bath in the Ganges for thousands of years, the stone remains stone, is what he said. That is, in the company of a saint, when you stay, if you look for the virtues of the saint, then only your mind will be purified. If you try to find out the faults of the saint, although it is not there, you may impose that and think about those things, then your mind will become impure only. So, Ashwatthaменam subirudha asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. It has to be cut, this worldliness. Ashwattha vriksha here is representing worldliness. The root, the strong roots have to be cut. How? By the asanga shastra, the weapon of asanga. How will asanga grow? Not to think about the vishayas only, think about something which is not attached to anything at all, think about the soul. Then what is to be done? Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivattanti bhuyaha. The real path, after cutting the worldliness with the asangatva, then only you will be able to find out the real path. Think about the path, follow the knowledge. Before that, the knowledge will not shine in you. You may listen to it, but you will not get attracted to the knowledge until the asangatva comes. You will not be able to. Now, here, the Ashwattha vriksha is the worldliness in us. You cannot cut the world. If you say that the world is like a Ashwattha vriksha, like a peepal tree, you cannot remove the world. There is no question of cutting the roots of the world. Here it is the Ashwattha vriksha is the worldliness which has grown in us. And that root has to be cut by asanga, by removing the sanga. Whereas here in Kathopanishad, he is saying that Tadeva Brahma, Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma, Tadeva Amritam Uchyate. That Ashwattha vriksha is the Brahman, it is the pure, it is the Amrita. Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, the Ashwattha vriksha is representing the worldliness in us. Here it is representing the world, not the worldliness in us. That is what I wanted to point out. In Kathopanishad, it is speaking about the world. And there they are saying, although this Ashwattha Vriksha is representing the whole world, its roots are in Brahman. There also it was root in Brahman. Here it is roots in Brahman. And that Brahman has become the Ashwattha tree, the whole world. So don't look at its leaves and branches and all that. They are nothing but Brahman. You are not able to understand. Maybe too many ideas I have given. No? It is contradictory, but it is complementary. That is why I am saying that Bhagavad Gita Ashwattha Vriksha, 15th chapter Ashwattha Vriksha, is the worldliness in us, which has to be cut. Whereas here the Ashwattha Vriksha is representing the whole universe, the creation. There is no question of cutting it off. But you can cut off its worldliness there by establishing Brahman there. Thinking that this creation, this Ashwattha Vriksha is nothing but Brahman, but Atma or consciousness. Ab clear hua? Nahin. So, there is a great difference, contradiction, and I saying complementary because one is thinking about the world as such and saying that the whole world is Brahman. There we are coming to the third step, as I explained in the beginning. The first step was knowing the truth as away from the body, as away from the world but within the body. Then knowing that that truth is not within the body but everywhere. And then this third step is knowing that the whole creation is nothing but that truth. 3 steps are there, clear steps. So it is the whole world is the Ashwattha tree, which is nothing but an appearance in the Brahman alone. The root is the Brahman. And that is why he is saying this contradictory statement, Esho Ashwattha Sanatanaha. This Ashwattha Vriksha is Sanatana. It is eternal. There it is, you have to cut it off. So now no question of eternality coming. The two are opposite there. So you don't have to cut off the tree outside. You have to cut off the worldliness tree within by the Sangha Shastra. And establish and know that the outside Ashwattha of the creation or universe is nothing but Brahman, nothing but my Atma, nothing but the I of whom I am most fond of. We are always fond of the I, not knowing what it is. Know that that I is everywhere and be fond of that. Then you will be fond of everybody. You will be able to love everybody, embrace everybody. Urdha Moolam Avak Shakam. Here Avak means lower, that its roots are upward. Why upward? It is only figurative. Upward means Brahman, anything good we think that it is upward. Actually there is no up down at all. On the earth, is there any up down? When we are here up, seeing up, the America they are seeing up there. It's all relative, but we have a feeling because in our body, the upward movement is related to always good things, noble things. Because Sahasrara is here. Release comes from here. And all the indulgences, there will be a lower down movement. And all the intelligence and faculties, they are upward movement. So, Brahman is Urdhvamulam. The Ashwattha is Urdhvamulam. Avak Shakha means all the shakhas, all the branches are propagating downward. They are coming down. Eshaha Ashwattha Sanatana. So, this Ashwattha Vriksha of creation is Sanatana. In some cases, you will find they will say Sanatana, eternal. In the other sense, just before that I told that the whole creation, in a way it is, as a whole, is Anadi Ananta, that way also. But it is not so. I would like to interpret it in this manner, that here they are focusing on the Sanatana aspect of everything. Until we do it, we cannot have the interactional sadhana fulfilled. That Brahman or Atma has to be established in everything of the world. When that establishment means that world becomes the Brahman. Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam kadapi brahma sargayoho. That is how never differentiate between sarga, the creation, and Brahman. Because Whatever differences are appearing, they are only appearances on the same consciousness, same Brahman, same Atma. Tadeva Shukram. Know that itself is the pure. Tad Brahma, that itself is the Brahman. Tadeva tat eva amritam uchyate. That itself is called immortality. Immortality means doesn't have birth and death. That means changeless. That means not in the objectude. All these deductions you have to make. I have said so many times. So these should come in the mind repeatedly. See, every time, whenever you read, that these are the sequence. Then only that Amritattva will be understood properly. Tasmin lokaha shritaha sarve. This earlier also we have done. All the lokas, all the worlds, heaven, hell, or anything, Prithvi, everything is, this is the substratum for everything. They are ashritaha. They have taken refuge in this Brahman. Ashritaha. Sarve lokaha tasmin ashritaha santi. All the lokas are hosted by it, or have taken refuge in it. Tadunatyeti kaschana. Nothing can surpass it. Nothing can surpass it. Etad vaitat. O Nachiketa, this is the Atma you have asked for. You have wanted to know. We should not degrade the world, because always we should remember that it is the world which is generating the thought of God in us. If the world had not been there, would we have thought about God? Forget about it, because otherwise also if the world had not been there, we would not have been there. So the question doesn't arise. But we should remember that because the world is following causality, we are looking for a cause for the entire universe. And when we inquire, we find that there cannot be any cause. We have to go beyond causality to know the ultimate truth. If there is any ultimate truth, it has to be beyond causality. So thought of the world is taking us to the thought of the truth. And there we apply the Vidya Maya. It is called Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. That Avidya Maya we are already caught. Nobody has to cultivate anything, because we are born with seeing plurality, externality, Bheda Buddhi it is called, all differences and all. To remove that apparent Bheda Buddhi or the differential notion we are suffering from, we are incorporating what? Advaita. Advaita means there is no Bheda. Everything is same and everything is appearing in consciousness. Now, this Advaita will remove the Dvaita, the duality and plurality from our mind. And then the truth will remain. That means truth is not, Advaita also is not the truth. Advaita is also a concept. This is the greatness of our Shastras. They speak about their limitations. Dvaitadvaita vivarjite samarase maunam param sammatam. The ultimate truth is beyond both Dvaita and Advaita. Advaita is used, Vidya Maya is used to remove the Avidya Maya. When Vidya Maya removes the Avidya Maya, then whatever is left, that is the truth. We cannot describe it, we cannot speak about it. That is Avang Manaso Gochara. So, Dvaitadvaita vivarjite. When both Dvaita and Advaita are dropped, Advaita has done its duty by removing the Dvaita, and then Advaita also is dropped. That is called the Samarasa. Bhagavad Gita Samatva is not that easy. It has to come to this level. The duality, non-duality, all differences have to go to attain the equality of evenness of Bhagavad Gita. That is called the Samarasa. Samarase. Maunam param sammatam. That can only be expressed by silence, because there is no word which can express it. See, our Shastra, it is from Praudhanubhuti. Yadidam kincha jagat sarvam.
Yadidam kimcha jagat sarvam.
Prana ejati nisritam.
Prana ejati nisrutam.
Mahadbhayam vajramudyatam.
Mahadbhayam vajramudyatam.
Ya etadviduramritaste bhavanti.
य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति
Yadidam kincha jagat sarvam
यदिदं किं च जगत्सर्वं
prana ejati nisritam
प्राण एजति निःसृतम्
mahadbhayam vajramudyatam
महद्भयं वज्रमुद्यतं
ya etadviduramritaste bhavanti.
य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति
Next. Bhayadasyagnistapati
भयादस्याग्निस्तपति
भयात्तपति सूर्यः
भयात्तपति सूर्यः
भयादिन्द्रश्च वायुश्च
भयादिन्द्रश्च वायुश्च
मृत्युर्धावति पञ्चमः.
मृत्युर्धावति पञ्चमः.
So these two, speaking about bhaya. So naturally our mind will ask that why suddenly so much of fear has been. The Upanishads are supposed to lead us to the fear of, the abode of fearlessness. Abhayapada. Why suddenly they are bringing in bhaya? Everybody is running in the fear of this, fear of that. Are we to fear God? Are we to fear Brahman? Are we to fear our own Atma? Or love? So the question will come. Suddenly Upanishad, why they are saying that? They are saying because we are haunted by various fears. And if we take the refuge of something, the truth, ultimate truth or Brahman or Atma, who is feared by everybody else, even the Surya, the galaxies, the sun and the moon, everybody is running in the fear of him. So if we take the asylum of that, then will we fear any of the world, anything of the world? वो सबसे जो बड़ा है राजा है उनके पास जाके बैठ गए हैं तो कौन क्या करे? पुलिस कुछ कर सकते हैं? कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता है. That is the Abhayapada. Not only that, he is trying to picture the greatness of the harmony of the whole universe. That the sun is moving on its path for millions of years maybe. The earth is going around the sun, the moon is going around the earth. For how many years? Never the moon says that today I am very tired, let me at least rest for half a second. What will happen if the sun rests for half a second or the moon rests for half a second? There will be tremendous destruction, and what will happen we don't know. So, without rest, without any deviation, they are continuously. And can we imagine the activity going on in the whole universe? But this entire tremendous activity, unimaginable activity is taking place in the background of a silence. The background of a silence. Everything is anusyuta, we say. Everything is woven into a great harmony. Somewhere a little harmony breaks, the whole system will go. So is it not with great attention that everything has to go on following the harmony? So if we violate that harmony, we will be in trouble. But we always do that. That is how we have polluted our earth. Being selfish, whenever we are forgetting about others and become possessive, selfish, we violate that harmony and create problem for the world. Because our power, our bodily, mental power is not that great, we can destroy only our society, not the whole universe. Earth will become polluted, the rivers will get polluted, trees will go, but nothing suddenly is going to happen to the sun or moon or even others. So, because that is why God has limited our powers. Otherwise, we would have destroyed the whole universe if we had the power. So, he says, Yat idam kincha jagat sarvam. Prana means actually it is prane ejati nisritam. Prane, the ekara gets stopped because it is followed by ejati. Ejati means spandana, pulsating. That whatever we are calling yad idam kincha jagat sarvam, whatever we are calling to be this world, This is coming out of, it is born of the prana and it is pulsating in prana. In many places, Brahman will be referred to as prana, not only here in Shetashvatara, in Taittiriya, everywhere. Because prana is its first expression. Prana means the vibration, it is first expression. Even energy means there is a vibration, there is a pulsating. It may not behave like a living being, but it is the first expression of prana. The whole harmony, the pulsating harmony they are referring to. Prane ejati nisritam. Nisritam means born of it, and it is pulsating in the prana. Prana means in the Brahman. Mahadbhayam vajramudyatam. As if, how it is the whole thing is following such a great harmony, the whole universe is pulsating in that. As if this Brahman is holding the great weapon of Vajra. Vajra means lightning weapon. That's the most powerful weapon. As if Udyatam means as if it is standing with the, not like our Darwan who sleeps in the night. He is always standing with the Vajram in hand. So that everything goes on all right. Everything is moving in harmony. Mahadbhayam vajramudyatam ya etad viduhu amritaste bhavanti. One who knows this harmony, one who knows this Brahman, who is the soul, who is the substratum of the entire universe, who is holding the entire universe, making it pulsate and follow the harmony, run in harmony. One who knows this Brahman, he becomes immortal. Ya etad viduhu, one who knows it, amritaste bhavanti. One who knows, those who know, amritaha te bhavanti, plural. Our Shastras will always, these things they will speak in plural. It is not that I have become a knower and all should follow me, I am an avatara. No. Anybody, anywhere who knows it, not only in India, if anybody knows it anywhere in the world or in the other world also, they all attain the Brahman, they become liberated. Shrinnantu sarve amritasya putraha aye dhamani divyani tasthuhu vedahametam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasa parastat tameva viditva atimrityumeti nanya pantha vidyate ayanaya. When they first came to know this truth, they declared the whole world that, oh, you are all sons of children of immortality. Listen, oh, listen, ye, the children of immortality. Shrinmantu sarve amritasya putraha. You are all children of immortality. Why? He could have said that I have become immortal. You all listen to my message. I will give you the commandments. Listen to that and follow that. No, our spirituality is not like that. It is not like other religions. It is spirituality, spirituality. It's the truth, a science, more than a science. So he says that, listen, you all, the children of immortality. Aye dhamani divyani tastu. And you devas who are sitting in the divya dhama, that is the devas and all. If you are there, you also listen, because devas, as in Kathopanishad also they said, devairatra api vichikitsitam kila. Yamaraja said that even the devas don't know truth. Nachiketa, you are a 7-year-old boy, how can I give you? So he is saying that all the devas seated in different worlds, you also listen. Vedahametam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasa parastat. I have known that great Purusha, the great consciousness, the great Atma, the Brahman. Adityavarnam, brilliant. We are comparing with the sun, but it is sun also is revealed by that. Tamasa parastat, beyond the fold of ignorance, darkness, beyond the fold of darkness, beyond ignorance. Tameva viditva atimrityumeti. Tam eva, only knowing that one can cross over death. Atimrityum eti. Eti atimrityum. Atimrityum eti. Only by knowing that great Purusha beyond the ignorance, that means having the knowledge of the truth, one can cross mrityu. Otherwise you are surrounded by mrityu, not only your bodily death, but everything around you is changeful. People are dying, relatives are dying, friends are dying, things are getting lost, things are, whatever you are bringing, There is birth, there is death. Always we are surrounded by birth and death. Only by knowing this, you will be able to cross. The one is able to cross death, go across death, transcend death. Nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya. There is no other path available to go beyond death or transcend death. Death means transcend birth and death. But people are afraid of death, that is why they are saying transcend death. Otherwise they would say transcend birth and death. This is from Ashwattha Tree. Acha. So, ya etad viduhu amritas te bhavanti. This knowledge of this fundamental harmony, this tremendous power makes one immortal. In the Ashwattha Upanishad, it starts with a picture where the students of Brahma Vidya, they are discussing that where from this world has come, where from I have come, what is the reason, what is the cause, what is the ultimate cause. They were analyzing and rejecting one after another. Can it be time, can it be space, can it be our Atma? Like that they were rejecting. Then they did not reach any conclusion, because finally they came to that Atma, means they are meaning the Atma, Jiva, their own limited Atma. Because everything else we are knowing is depending on that Atma. So the Atma must be that. Then the yukti, the argument comes that how can I say that, because Atma is also under the control of Sukha and Dukkha. I am feeling I am Dukhi, I am feeling I am Sukhi, I am happy, I am sorry. So the Atma, we cannot say it is independent, it is free, it is bound. It is always under the control of happiness and sorrow and so many other things. So they could not find any solution. Then the next verse itself, Upanishad says, Te dhyana yoganugata apashyan. What did they do? They took to dhyana. Because is the Atma like that? Or let me know, what is that Atma really? So, dhyana yoganugata apashyan. They took to dhyana yoga. Yoga means by the dhyana, which will take them to the yoga. Yoga means where the egoistic small identity gets dissolved in the real identity. That is the yoga, that is the fusion. Yoga means fusion. The small egoistic separated identity gets fused in the universal one Atma. That they took to. Te dhyana yoganugata apashyan. They saw. It's a record of the experimental result. They saw. What did they see? Just in one line. Devatma shaktim swagunair nigudham. Devatma shaktim swagunair nigudham. They saw Devatma shaktim. Just one word. Deva. Deva is from Dibdhatu, means brilliance. All the brilliant powers like Surya and all, they are called Devas. But the ultimate, the supreme Deva is our Atma, because without that brilliance nothing can be seen. So Deva means they discovered their Atma, which is the ultimate revealer of everything. Revealer. Deva means they discovered the revealer, the light, the ultimate light. But that is their Atma only. Deva Atma Shaktim. That is the Atma only. That is the I. They discovered that which I am referring to as I and thinking that I am sorry, I am happy, etc. It is not so. All these happiness, sorrows are revealed by I. So that is the Deva. Deva Atma. Atma is the Deva. Not only that, Deva Atma Shaktim. That is the source of the entire energy in the universe. Because the whole universe we are knowing is whatever is in our consciousness we are able to know. Otherwise we will not know anything. It has to be reflected in us, in the consciousness. So, this is the source of the entire energy of the universe. So it is three things. It is the ultimate revealer, and it is the entire energy, the source or substratum of the entire energy, the whole display of the universe. And that itself is the I in us. But then, Swagunair Nigudham, then why are we not able to know it? He is saying, Swagunair Nigudham, they discovered that this is what I am. But we are not knowing it because this is covered by its own play of the three gunas. With the play of the three gunas, it has creating the world appearance is coming, and that is covering up the truth. Like that, it is in Shvetashvatara beginning. So everywhere they will speak about this great energy. In Shvetashvatara, in another place, we have recorded this as a song. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate natat samascha drishyate parasyar shaktir vividhaiva shruyate swabhaviki jnana balakriyacha. He says that natasya karyam, it has nothing to do. This truth, Atma, Brahman, has nothing to do. It has nothing to achieve at all. Karyam means what he has to do. No, nothing. No karyam at all. And knower also has no karyam at all. He does whatever comes, he does. That's all. Karya means what has to be done. Ye duty hai, wo duty hai. No duty for him. Natasya karyam, karanam cha vidyate. How will he do? He doesn't have any. Karana means the indriyas with which anybody will work. हाथ पैर ये सब कुछ नहीं है करने वाले. करणम च विद्यते न तत् समः च अभि अधिकश्च दृश्यते. There is nothing comparable to this truth, and forget about anything transcending or beyond that truth. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate. Asya parashaktihi vividhaiva shruyate. And his great power that is appearing like as this huge, multifarious, variegated universe, which has been described in the Shrutis in various manners. In the Vedas, it has been described. In various manners, it is described about it. But that is Asya Parashakti. It is the power of him. He cannot do anything. He doesn't have any karana, any organ of doing also. But it is his energy that is displaying all the entire unimaginable activity of the universe. And how it is happening? Swabhaviki jnana balakriyaja. Swabhaviki. Swabhaviki means sahaja. It is his natural. It doesn't have to put any effort. It is natural to him. Swabhaviki, what kind of activity? Jnana balakriya. It is his knowledge. Jnana. His knowledge means he is knowledge. That knowledge is not different from him. He himself is the knowledge. And bala, that just like that I said Devatma Shaktin, this is the bala means the power. That is power of the knowledge. Kriya, from that all the activities are coming. Swabhaviki jnana bala kriyaja. Yaetad viduhu amritaste bhavanti. One who knows this, he becomes immortal. This is also from Shvetashvatara. I was telling that jnana balakriya, when I said, immediately it came to my mind that this is jnana balakriya. Jnana, when we say, this jnana is the truth. This is the only statement in our society, thousands and thousands of years ago, prehistoric statement of Rig Veda, the oldest Veda. The Mahavakya of Rig Veda is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. The ultimate truth is in the form of knowledge. But it is not the dual knowledge as we are getting from outside, that in the Vedas this knowledge. Not that. Prajnanam means Prakrishta Jnanam. Prajnanam Brahma. That means this knowledge, as we know it, we become that. This is the difference with all other knowledges. Suppose if you read if you know how a motor car is functioning, you are not becoming a motor car. If you understand the nuclear bomb, discover the nuclear bomb also, you are not becoming the nuclear bomb. But in this case, the knowledge is about what? The entire spiritual literature, the knowledge speaks about what? About our own identity. So more and more we absorb the knowledge, we actualize the knowledge. Are we not becoming that knowledge? It is about our knowledge. So here the jnana is actually becoming the jnani, jnani is becoming the jnana, jnana is becoming the jnani. There is no difference at all. So this prajnanam is that is the consciousness we talk about. It is not any evolute of the body. This is the consciousness, prajnanam. That itself is the Brahman. That is why we say that our society had been knowledge worshipper. The knowledge has not been respected to this extent as in our society, nowhere in the world. People used to leave everything for knowledge. Throughout their life, they will practice this knowledge with what kind of austerity, without food, without anything, but they will not forget knowledge. We are studying, but if you don't have food one day, you will not read the Shastras. All other things are first, then only knowledge. You know about Vachaspati Mishra, who was writing Tika on Brahma Sutra Bhashya of Shankaracharya. He was writing the Tika on it. It is said that when he started writing, his mother was there. Mother was serving and he started writing. He wrote and wrote and wrote. Finally, the day it was over, he felt great relief. He went to the river, took bath and came back for food. Maybe that is the day, first day he was about to enjoy food. Because all these days he had forgotten. He had taken food, not to his knowledge. So when he sat for food, he found an old lady with grey hair, is not old like him, is serving him. He looked at the face of the lady and said that my mother was serving me. Who are you? Because when I started writing, my mother was serving me. You are not my mother. He said that I am your wife. I was married to you, and all along after we have been serving, your mother has passed away. Thereafter I have been serving you. My hairs have become grey. Vachaspati Mishra felt, oh, I have done such a disservice. I have not looked at my wife at all throughout my life, and she has become old. To compensate that, he named that Tika, not his name, but everybody knows by, what is the name? Bhanumati. No, Bhamati Tika. Bhamati was the wife's name. So he gave the name Bhamati Tika as a compensation for that. This was our country. Not one, there are so many events and stories, not stories, facts like this. The knowledge was given the highest position, not only highest, telling highest is nothing, the supreme position. And that is how they could discover this. How many thousands of years ago, we don't know. It was at its height in this kind of expression from the time immemorial. We don't know how long it took to develop to this level. How many years had passed to develop to this level? Even now people are not able to understand. Struggling and struggling. Bhayadasyagnistapati
Bhayadagnistapati
Bhayattapati suryaha
Bhayattapati suryaha
Bhayadindrascha vayuscha
Bhayadindrascha vayuscha
Mrityurdhavati panchamaha.
Mrityurdhavati panchamaha.
There are 5. One is that Agnihi, fire. Then Suryaha, sun. Then Indraha, 3rd. Vayuhu, 4th. Then Mrityuhu, 5. That is why they said Mrityur Dhavati Panchamaha. Panchamaha Mrityuhu Dhavati. So Bhayat, Asya Bhayat, by the fear of this truth, fear of Brahman, fear of Atma, Agnihi Tapati, the fire is giving heat, radiating and giving us heat by the fear of this truth. He is describing the harmony actually. That if the fire doesn't give heat, then the whole thing will collapse. Bhayat tapati suryaha, the sun is radiating. It's the work of the action of the sun is to radiate. It is going on radiating for millions of years perhaps. By the fear of this. never stops radiating. Bhayad Indraha. Indra means actually Indra is the lord of all our sense organs. Indriya has come from there. And lightning is his astra, weapon. Huh? Why? All our indriyas it is not there, I am saying, all our indriyas are functioning because of electricity, is it not so? See, just inside the retina, just under the skin, just under the middle layer, everywhere the sensations are electrical pulses passing through the nerves are going here, and in the brain everything is electrical. All our images, whatever we are seeing, they are all electrical pulses in the brain. The whole world perception is by Indra. Indra is the master, the lord of all the entire world perception. That is why he is called the lord of all the devas. Other Indriyas are called also devas, but Indra is the lord of all the devas because he controls all other Indriyas. So Indra is doing his function, that is keeping our sense organs alive. Vayuhu cha. Vayuhu means air as well as prana. That Vayu's work is to keep the life everywhere, keep the living things alive. Mrityur dhavati panchama. See, on one hand the Vayu is keeping the life, on the other hand the Yamaraja or Mrityu is maintaining death. Without death there cannot be any life. This is the duality. Life and death is a duality. So in the harmony, the death and the life, they are playing a complementary role. Why should we be afraid of death alone? Without death there cannot be life. So they have put it also together. Mrityur dhavati panchama. The fifth one, the Mrityu. Dhavati means wherever it has to be killed, he has to. It is Yamaraja himself is saying. Yamaraja is the lord of death. He had gone also. When Nachiketa had come, he had gone to some greater calamity had taken place. Many people had died. Some flood or something had happened. So 3 days he took to come back again to his palace. So Mrityur dhavati panchama. That's the whole thing, including birth and death. That means actually creation, causality, that is cause and effect. Everything, then cause and effect, chain of the universe, everything is running in a great harmony run by the master, this Brahman, his fear. And if we take refuge in him, so what do we fear? Even the Mrityu we will not fear because Mrityu is working under his fear. Nachiketa is telling Yamaraja that you are giving me longer and longer life. Once I have seen you, I will live long, I know. Iha chedashakat bodhum
Iha chedashakat bodhum
praksharirasya visrasaha
praksharirasya visrasaha
tatah sargeshu lokeshu Sharirattvaya kalpate.
Sharirattvaya kalpate.
He says, Iha chet ashakat bodhum. You will remember in Upanishad 5th verse, he says that Iha chet avedid atha satyam asti. Na chediha avedin mahati vinashtihi. If it is known in this life, in this world, here, in this life, then atha satyam asti, the life becomes meaningful. Because human beings are born with this special faculty which no other animal has got. So, the purpose of human life will be fulfilled not by living a bodily life or even intellectual life, but by knowing who am I. The purpose of because that is only available to the human beings. So the fulfillment of the human life will be through the special ability given to the human body. That is to know ourselves. Iha ched avedid atha satyam asti. Iha means in this world, here, in this life. if it is known, then the life becomes truthful. The life becomes meaningful, becomes fulfilled. Nachediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. If that is not known before the body falls, then great is the loss. Great is the loss. Mahati vinashtihi. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha pretyasman lokan amrita bhavanti. By the dhiraha, I have already explained so many times. The wise people, they finding this truth in all the beings. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya. In all the beings finding this truth. Pretya asman lokan amrita bhavanti. That two meanings are there. One is after dropping body, they become immortal. That we will not take it. Pretya asman lokan also means they transcend this loka. It is in the sense of transcendence. Transcending the physical world. Transcending the worldliness. They become immortal. Here also it is like that. That was in Kathopanishad 5th verse. Iha ched ashakat bodhum. If we don't prak sharirasya visrasaha, before the body falls, sharirasya visrasaha, before the fall of the body. Prak means before. Iha ched ashakat bodhum. If this is not realized before the body falls, tataha sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. That means it has to be known before the body falls. Now there is a problem here. He has written tataha. Actually it should be otherwise. Tataha means therefore. It should be not tada. Otherwise, that is anyatha. It should be actually anyatha. So the tataha has been used in the form of anyatha. That means if it is not done, then what happens? Otherwise it doesn't mean. So Shankaracharya also has interpreted it like that on everybody, because otherwise it won't. Tataha means one who has become free again. How can he? Sargeshu means not Svarga. Sargeshu means in various worlds. All the lokas are under Sarga. Sarga means Srishti. Sarga means creation. It is not Svarga. Svarga means heaven. So Svarga is also one Sarga. One of the Srishti is Svarga. Naraka also is Sarga. So Sargeshu Lokeshu Sharirattvaya Kalpate. This I have explained in another verse, that because their Sharira means the seat of experience. Because we are not satisfied with the experiences, that means desires are still there. As long as desires are there, they still desire to have a seat of experience. So they go to the different lokas according to their desires they follow. Earlier we have already studied yatha karma yatha shrutam. It is the same thing. According to their ideas, they take to different worlds and all. That is anyatha. That means if he is not able to understand. Here ashakat means he is able to. This is also a very special word which I looked for. I am not able to. Shakat I am not able to understand. But its meaning is if he is able to. Iha chet ashakat bodhum. If in this body, in this world, one is able to understand prak sharirasya visrasaha, before the body falls, in this world, if somebody is able to understand. And the second line is anyatha, if not, then sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. So in this shloka there is a little some word missing or some line, because the first line is also not completed. Iha chet, when you are starting with chet, then the second part becomes conclusive, but that goes against the whole. There will be some, rarely such discrepancies will be there, which we somehow interpret. Nobody can change them. But Om Sahana Vavatu.
Om Sahana Vavatu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.